Welcome to Tech Binary Brew. What if by the end of this year, your new coworker is an AI, your office exists in virtual reality, and your smartphone is powered by clean, renewable energy? It may sound like science fiction, but these scenarios are becoming reality. Welcome to 2025, where a wave of groundbreaking tech trends is poised to change everything about how we live and work. In today's video, we'll dive into the 5 biggest tech trends of 2025, from intelligent AI and immersive realities to green innovations and the next evolution of the internet. Stick around to see how each trend will impact you, and be sure to subscribe if you love exploring future tech. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's jump right in. Generative AI, the creative powerhouse. Generative AI has exploded in popularity and capability, becoming the talk of the town in 2025. Thanks to advanced large language models, think GPT-4 and beyond, and multimodal systems, AI can now create remarkably human-like content, writing articles, coding software, designing graphics, even composing music, all at the push of a button. This trend is going mainstream across industries. Businesses are deploying AI to automate content creation, enhance customer service with smart chatbots, and supercharge research and development. According to Gartner, the global generative AI market is projected to swell from $13.5 billion in 2023 to over $43 billion by 2025, one of the fastest adoption curves in tech history. In other words, AI's creative abilities are growing at light speed. Marketing teams use AI to draft copy and generate ad designs. Studios leverage AI to generate video game artwork and special effects. Even news articles and YouTube scripts, yes, like this one, can be AI-assisted. Developers have AI coding assistants that can generate and debug code. Office workers use AI in spreadsheets, emails, and slide decks, a silent helper speeding up every task. Microsoft and Google have baked AI copilots into their apps, meaning your next PowerPoint or Gmail draft might have had AI behind the scenes. From chatbots that sound almost human to AI tutors that personalize lessons, generative AI is enabling more natural and tailored interactions in software we use daily. This trend is revolutionizing productivity and creativity. It's not just about doing things faster, it's about doing entirely new things. For example, a single person can now prototype a product by having an AI generate the design, create marketing images, and even write code for a demo. Generative AI is becoming like an ideation partner for humans, lowering the barrier to bring ideas to life. No wonder 71% of business leaders say they'd prefer to hire someone with AI skills over a more experienced candidate without them in 2025. Knowing how to leverage AI is the new must-have skill. Generative AI is poised to transform creative industries and knowledge work. It can augment human creativity, not replace it. Think of it as collaborating with a super smart creative partner that never sleeps. However, it also raises questions about originality, jobs, and ethics. Who owns AI-generated content? How do we prevent misuse? Those debates are ongoing, but one thing is certain, this AI revolution isn't slowing down. If you're excited or a little nervous about AI, you're not alone. Let me know in the comments what you'd use generative AI for. Augmented and virtual reality, AR, VR, the new immersive world. The line between the digital and physical worlds is blurring thanks to augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR. After years of hype, AR/VR is hitting its stride in 2025. Lighter, more powerful headsets and smart glasses are coming to market, bringing immersive experiences out of the realm of sci-fi and into everyday life. VR isn't just for gamers wearing bulky goggles anymore. Newer devices offer high-resolution displays, better motion tracking, and more comfort for longer use. Meanwhile, AR is everywhere, from phone apps that overlay navigation arrows on the street to glasses that can translate signs or show your messages without picking up a phone. Here's what's happening in AR/VR. With tech giants pushing devices like the Meta Quest and Apple's Vision Pro, VR and AR are becoming more user-friendly and accessible. Improved optics, lighter designs, and longer battery life mean you can wear these gadgets for work or play without discomfort. As a result, more people are trying VR/AR for the first time and finding real value. This isn't just about immersive gaming, though that's still huge. VR is now used for corporate training, simulating real scenarios safely, education, virtual field trips to ancient Rome, anyone, and therapy, helping patients overcome phobias via virtual environments. AR is transforming retail and shopping. Imagine pointing your phone at your living room and seeing a 3D model of a couch before buying it, or trying on clothes virtually. It's also big in maintenance and manufacturing, where workers use AR glasses to see instructions or machine data overlaid on equipment. Remember the buzz about the Metaverse? In 2025, it's less a single virtual world and more a mix of interconnected AR/VR experiences. People hold virtual meetings where you feel like you're in the same room. Friends across the globe meet up as avatars at virtual concerts. These social VR experiences are more immersive than a video call. You can make eye contact thanks to eye-tracking tech and use virtual whiteboards and 3D models as if they're in front of you. Crucially, AR/VR is now bridging to everyday devices. Your phone's AR features, like Pokemon Go or Google's AR search results, get more sophisticated. And your laptop might connect to a VR headset to give you a multi-monitor setup in virtual space. In 2025, AR and VR are poised to change how we interact with information. Instead of staring at a flat screen, we'll increasingly engage with digital content in 3D spaces around us. AR and VR are creating an internet of experiences. They have the potential to revolutionize collaboration. Imagine designing a 3D model with colleagues globally, each wearing AR glasses and seeing the model on the table and enhance how we learn and play. As AR/VR tech gets better and cheaper, it could transform daily life. From how we socialize, virtual meetups, to how we work, virtual desktops, and consume media, 360 degrees movies, interactive storytelling. The year 2025 as a tipping point. AR/VR is moving from niche to normal. If you've tried a VR headset or an AR app recently, you've gotten a glimpse of the future. And if not, you might be using one at work sooner than you think. Sustainable technology, green tech takes center stage. In 2025, the tech world isn't just about speed and power, it's about sustainability. Sustainable technology means developing and using tech in ways that are friendly to our planet. With climate change concerns rising, both companies and consumers are pushing for greener tech solutions. This trend touches everything from how our devices are made and powered to how data centers are cooled. It's a broad movement, but let's break down a few key areas. Tech companies are investing heavily in renewable energy. Data centers, the backbone of the internet, are infamous for gobbling up electricity. In 2025, we see major cloud providers running their servers on solar, wind, and hydropower. Innovations in energy-efficient computing, like specialized chips and smarter software algorithms, cut down power usage. Some data centers even reuse their waste heat to warm buildings. The goal: reduce carbon emissions while meeting our growing digital demands. Remember how often we upgrade our gadgets? Sustainable tech is about breaking the take, make, dispose cycle. Companies are now designing electronics with recycled materials like aluminum from old iPhones going into new ones and making them easier to repair or recycle. In 2025, manufacturers are shifting toward recycled and biodegradable materials for components and packaging. E-waste initiatives are ramping up. Instead of your old phone ending up in a landfill, it could be refurbished or its materials recovered for new devices. Technology itself is a tool to improve sustainability in other sectors. Think smart grids that use AI to balance energy supply and demand more efficiently, or IoT sensors in agriculture that can conserve water by irrigating only when needed. AI-driven analytics help companies optimize supply chains to reduce waste and carbon footprint. Even blockchain is used for sustainability, e.g., to verify supply chain transparency, ensuring products are ethically sourced. In our homes, smart thermostats and appliances learn our habits to save energy automatically. Automation and data can make everything from buildings to transportation more energy efficient. All these efforts are driven by a mix of ethical responsibility and business sense. Consumers are more eco-conscious and favor brands with green practices, and governments are enacting stricter regulations on emissions and waste. In fact, adopting sustainable tech has become a competitive advantage. Organizations that embrace green innovation position themselves as forward-thinking leaders. It's not just good for the planet, it can reduce costs, e.g., lower energy bills, and improve brand reputation. Sustainable technology is about ensuring that the future we're building is one where tech and nature can coexist. All the fancy gadgets and digital marvels mean little if we exhaust our planet's resources. 2025 marks a pivotal year where eco-innovation is front and center. We're seeing that green tech is not a niche, it's the new norm. From big tech companies aiming for carbon neutrality to startups inventing cleaner battery tech or carbon capture solutions, this trend will shape how technology is produced and used for years to come. Ultimately, sustainability in tech means innovation with conscience, solving problems today without creating bigger ones for tomorrow. Web3 and decentralized apps, rebuilding the internet link. Web3, the vision of a decentralized internet, promises an online world where users have more control over their data and digital assets. The next big evolution of the internet is underway, and it's often called Web3. So, what is Web3? In short, it's a movement toward a more decentralized web, one not dominated by a few big platforms, but powered by blockchain and controlled by users. In 2025, Web3 technologies, blockchains, cryptocurrencies, decentralized apps are maturing fast and could fundamentally transform how online services operate. Here's what's trending in Web3 and decentralized applications, the apps this year. Traditional apps are centralized. They run on servers owned by companies who control the data. Web3 apps run on blockchain networks, distributed across many nodes, which means no single entity controls the app or data. This offers greater privacy, transparency, and resilience. No single point of failure. For users, it means owning your data and even your identity online. You might log into services with a secure crypto wallet instead of multiple passwords. Example, decentralized social networks where you, not a corporation, own your content and profile so you can port it elsewhere if you want. Blockchain tech isn't just about Bitcoin anymore. In 2025, we see blockchain being used in all sorts of innovative ways. Supply chain tracking is big. Companies use blockchains to verify provenance of products, say, tracing coffee beans from farm to cup, enhancing transparency and trust. Voting systems are piloting blockchain to create tamper-proof digital ballots. Healthcare is exploring storing patient records on blockchains so you control who sees your medical data. Even governments are testing central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, using blockchain. These uses show how decentralization can increase security and reduce fraud in various industries. Decentralized finance, DeFi, and digital assets. One of Web3's most disruptive areas is finance. Decentralized finance apps let people lend, borrow, trade, and earn interest on assets without traditional banks. All you need is a smartphone and internet. By 2025, DeFi platforms have grown immensely, offering services that mirror banking, but via smart contracts, self-executing code on blockchains instead of intermediaries. Additionally, tokenization is taking off. Real-world assets like real estate, art, or stocks can be tokenized, represented as digital tokens on a blockchain. According to industry reports, tokenization of real-world assets is projected to reach around $500 billion in market value by 2025. Even major financial players like BlackRock and JP Morgan are jumping in, exploring blockchain-based asset trading to improve efficiency. In simpler terms, parts of the traditional financial system are being rebuilt on blockchain, potentially making transactions faster, cheaper, and more accessible globally. The NFT, non-fungible token, boom of 2021 has matured. By 2025, NFTs are not just digital art collectibles, they're foundational to the digital economy. Musicians release albums as NFTs to earn royalties. Gamers own in-game items as NFTs that they can trade or sell, and brands use NFTs for loyalty rewards. NFTs give a way to truly own digital goods, a key piece of the Web3 vision. They're also enabling new models for content creators to monetize work without intermediaries taking a big cut. All of these examples boil down to a common theme: removing middlemen and empowering users. Decentralized apps, DApps, offer privacy and user control by design, which is increasingly attractive as people become wary of how big tech handles their data. We're seeing a cultural shift online where communities rally around Web3 projects because they promise a more democratic digital world. Web3 could fundamentally shift internet power dynamics. Imagine an internet where you have a single secure digital identity and you can move freely between platforms without re-entering data or fearing platforms will lock you in. Imagine social media where you earn crypto tokens for your contributions, or streaming platforms owned by the artists and the audience rather than large corporations. That's the promise of Web3, an internet that is more open, user-centric, and innovative. We're not fully there yet. There are challenges like scalability, regulation, and making these technologies user-friendly. But 2025 is a year of rapid progress in this space. The ecosystem is growing from decentralized finance to Web3 gaming to blockchain infrastructure. Keep an eye on this trend. It's building the foundation for the future web. And if phrases like DeFi, NFT, or DAO still confuse you, don't worry. These concepts are becoming mainstream, and we'll all be hearing more about them as Web3 continues to evolve. Spatial computing, merging digital and physical realities. Last but not least is spatial computing, a term that's gaining popularity thanks in part to devices like Apple's Vision Pro. Spatial computing refers to technologies that allow computers to understand and merge with the space around us, so we can interact with digital content as if it's part of our physical environment. This is the next step in human-computer interaction, moving beyond screens and into the 3D space we live in. In practice, spatial computing is closely related to AR/VR, but it's more encompassing. It's about making our interaction with technology more natural and spatially aware. Here's what's happening on this front in 2025. Era of the spatial computer. Tech is literally breaking out of the flat screen. Companies like Apple are calling devices like the Vision Pro a spatial computer, a device that seamlessly blends digital content with the physical world. Using advanced sensors, cameras, LiDAR, and AI, these devices map the geometry of your room, your position, your hand movements, and even eye gaze. This means digital windows, apps, and interfaces can be placed all around you, on your wall, on your table, or floating in midair, and they stay anchored in place as you move. Imagine sitting on your couch and having your email app floating to your right, a life-size video call of your friend to your left, and a virtual 120-inch TV screen on the wall playing a 3D movie. That's spatial computing. A hallmark of spatial computing is using natural inputs, your hands, eyes, voice, instead of keyboards, mice, or game controllers. For example, with a device like Vision Pro, you might scroll a page by just flicking your fingers in the air, or select an icon by looking at it and tapping your fingers together. The idea is that interacting with digital content should feel as intuitive as picking up a real object. This removes a lot of the friction we usually have with tech interfaces. In 2025, we're seeing significant advancements here. Hand tracking, voice recognition, and eye tracking are extremely precise, making the experience of a 3D user interface feel magical. One reviewer described it as content appearing right in front of your eyes in real time, with responsive, almost sci-fi-like control. Spatial computing is set to transform productivity and collaboration. Think of architects walking around a virtual building model at scale, or engineers overlaying a digital blueprint onto a physical machine during maintenance. Remote work could get a huge upgrade. Instead of video calls, teams might sit around a virtual table, writing on a shared whiteboard that floats in their space. Early adopters in design, medicine, education, and military training are already using these mixed reality setups to simulate scenarios that are too expensive or dangerous to replicate in real life. On the entertainment side, spatial computing enables truly immersive gaming, fighting robots in your living room, and new forms of storytelling where the viewer is in the middle of the action. It basically turns the world into a canvas for digital content. Tech leaders are heralding spatial computing as the next big era. As Apple CEO Tim Cook put it, just as the Mac introduced us to personal computing and the iPhone introduced us to mobile computing, Apple Vision Pro introduces us to spatial computing. This bold statement underlines how transformative this trend is expected to be. In 2025, we're at the dawn of this spatial computing era. The hardware, like advanced AR glasses and mixed reality headsets, is finally powerful enough to deliver these experiences, though currently at a premium price. Over the next few years, we anticipate rapid improvements and more affordable devices, much like what happened with smartphones. Spatial computing could fundamentally change how we use computers in daily life. It moves us from interacting through screens to interacting within our environment. The potential productivity boosts and creative possibilities are enormous. Your workspace becomes infinite, and collaboration is no longer limited by physical presence. Of course, it also raises new questions. How will this affect social norms? Will people walk around wearing AR glasses all day? What about privacy when devices are scanning our environment? Those debates will unfold. But one thing is clear, the way we think about using a computer will never be the same. Spatial computing is making technology more human-centered, and 2025 is the year it truly takes off. Conclusion and final thoughts. From AI that creates and thinks, to immersive realities that connect us in new ways, to tech that respects our planet, a decentralized internet, and computing that surrounds us, these 5 trends are transforming our world right now in 2025. It's an incredibly exciting time to be alive and witness how fast technology is evolving. Each of these trends, generative AI, AR, VR, sustainable tech, Web3, and spatial computing, is powerful on its own, but together they paint a picture of a future that is smarter, more interactive, and hopefully more sustainable and user-empowered than ever before. Change can be daunting, but it's also full of opportunity. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a professional, or just a curious observer, now's the time to pay attention. Adapting to these trends will be key because they're not science experiments. They're shaping the products and services we'll all be using. The world of 2030 will likely be unrecognizable compared to 2020, thanks to the foundations being laid today. Now, over to you. Which trend are you most excited about in 2025? Is it the AI revolution, the promise of the metaverse and spatial computing, the push for a greener tech ecosystem, or something else? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more insights into the tech that's shaping our future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious and stay tech savvy.